Hi everyone, Cullen here from Legal Home Loans. I am sitting with the founder of Cribs and an absolute living legend, Don Neshi. How are you, Don?
Good, mate. Good to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming and sharing your wealth of wisdom.
Absolutely happy to help.
Look, I wanted to open up because obviously our legal professionals are very time sensitive, and in this rebounding market, they want to know, has it actually hit the bottom?
Good question.
We get straight to the hard ones very quickly, my friend.
Straight away. So, I think that it's definitely hit a bottom. And the reason why I can say that is because it's rebounded off that bottom.
Yes.
I'll talk about a few things to address it. One of the first things that we have a look at is obviously the clearance rates.
Okay.
So clearance rates is basically how likely a property is to go at auction and be sold. Same time last year, there was sort of 50-odd%. So it was a coin toss whether or not the property was going to sell. In saying that, there was a lot more property on the market.
There was a lot more stock, right?
A lot more stock. At the moment, there's a lot less stock in the market, but it's all selling. There's a number of markets that's 100% strike. A large majority is about 80% clearance rates. This is in Sydney, but even Melbourne and Brisbane are seeing some really high rates as well. What I like to say to this question is people are trying to pick the bottom of the market.
Yes.
But if you're buying your own home, it kind of doesn't matter because you're buying with an emotional heart. You're thinking about this is a home that's going to suit my family. It doesn't matter if you've bought at the bottom. If you're somewhere near the bottom, it's fine because it's come back 15% or 20% in some markets. So provided it meets all your needs from a property perspective, fantastic, go and get it. From an investment perspective, whether it's the bottom or close to the bottom, I wouldn't try and pick the very bottom because it doesn't matter. If it's a few percentage points off, will it drop a lot more? Probably not. You would have to see something significant happen in order to see a big drop off from where we are today. It could be that big financial crisis or a black swan event or a number of rate rises, but you can't factor that into normal economics and you can't factor that into our everyday sort of investing. I think it just comes down to stick to your principles, find something that's good. Does your cash flow stack up? Is it a good asset in a good location? It has come back 15%, so it's pretty good buying.
Okay.
That was a long-winded way of
No, but
answer.
I like it, and I like it. And on that note, because obviously we deal with legal professionals and they deal with risk, and they're all looking at what's the probability of things are going to happen. Now, when they go to these open homes, they're seeing that 20 to 30 people are going to them because of the fact that there is such a lack of stock, because obviously statistically these properties are going to clear. Do you see that stock increasing over the next couple of months?
Yes.
And their chances of actually getting their first dream home? Because we deal with a lot of first home buyers that are quite frustrated with the whole process.
Yeah, I think that one of the major predictions, and if people are knowing that their property is going to sell, then they're more likely to list their property. So now there is a bit of, let's just call it spring shoots.
Spring shoot.
Spring shoot. So we're seeing, the weather's changing, sentiment is changing, people are more likely to go out. You're going to see, I think, an increase in the amount of stock that comes onto the market as people are more certain that they're going to sell their property. There's more certainty now. So there will be an influx of stock, and it will kind of do these ones. The supply and demand is constantly teetering this way and that.
Yes.
But I also say when you are going out and shopping, some properties have got 40 people, got 40 groups out there. Some don't.
They're the hidden gems.
They're the hidden gems.
How do you find these hidden gems, Dom?
Keep an eye out, work hard and get out there. I mean, the ads that are heavily polished and doctored, beautiful imagery and everything's there. You're probably going to see more people there. The ones that don't look that nice and you're less inclined to go and actually inspect, go and inspect them, because it hasn't attracted your eyes. Perhaps the agent hasn't done a good job or they haven't taken a good photo. That shouldn't dissuade you, because if there's a number of factors there that you could check out, go and see it for yourself, because the camera angle the agent chose may not be its best angle.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. So look for the ones that not everyone's got their focus on.
Correct.
Basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have everyone loves countdown lists, like 5 top things, 3 top things. What are your 3 top things everyone should do when they're looking for a property?
Wow. Okay. So there's a number of different people that are looking for different types of property. It could be investment. It could be own home. It could be commercial. What are we after? Narrow my.
So let's narrow it down. So if as I said, we deal with a lot of first home buyers or those starting again.
Yes.
What should they be mindful of or keep keep in mind?
Okay, so then, and I hate to be granular, there's different kinds of first home buyers.
Oh, of course.
So
I love this.
Yeah, the typical Australian first home buyer is in their upper 30s. You know, your 30-something is your first home buyer. It's not your stereotypical, 22, 23-year-old. That, in fact, doesn't exist.
No, it takes 12 years living in Sydney to save for a deposit, a 20% deposit. That's statistically proven.
Yeah, correct. So it's typically an older person, and they're typically buying with a partner. So if it's a genuine first home and you're not doing it purely for investment purposes, there's a set of criteria, and I'll come to that in a second.
Okay.
Because there's a market of people that are looking to use a first homeowners grant. So that becomes prohibitive in what type of price, where you're going to go.
Yes,
do you
correct.
buy brand new? There's certain incentives for buying under 600 or 650,000
yeah.
if you're buying a new or an old property, and you get a whole heap of government grants. So it makes sense to take free money from the government when you can.
Yep.
If you are legitimately buying your first home, you've saved a big deposit, you're with your partner, it is an emotional decision. Allow it to be. Don't be taken away by trying to pick a fantastic investment. Because a lot of the things, the qualitative factors that have attracted you in your eye will be the same reason why you'll be able to get a good price in the future. Now, the second thing to consider is this isn't the good old days where people would buy a property and stay in it for 30 years. This probably isn't your
That's the old
forever home.
paradigm.
Yeah, this isn't your forever home. It may be your home for the next 5-10 years. It may be your home for a little while, and it becomes an investment. So loosen the criteria a little bit and be okay with it not being perfect. Because you can spend a little bit of money on some paint and some carpet and be happy to kind of go a little bit further to get greater value, because you will be able to step up into those markets. I think it's better to buy within your means than to really push yourself and put unnecessary pressure, particularly because interest rates are low at the moment.
They're at a historical low.
Yeah.
In the last 25 years, they've never been lower.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go and say, get yourself up to the eyeballs, because if the interest rates start coming back, I'll let you talk about finance.
No, of course. And in terms of people wanting to grow their portfolio, so in the investment side of things, what do you think is just so vital to know?
Well, I'm actually finishing a book on this, so I'll have to
Okay. Well, we have to do a little plug to the book.
No, that's coming soon. But look, I think very simply, you probably heard this before. I like to think about pie. So your population, investments in infrastructure, and then employment. Have a look where there's going to be some key investments in infrastructure. And what I mean by that is there going to be new roads or trains or the metro, or is there something coming in to give you greater access to amenity or greater accessibility? People like to be close to work. People like to be close to shops and to great amenity. But they also like to be close to faster travel times to locations. I'll give you for instance, just recently there was a completion of the City West Link.
Yes.
I don't know if you've used it, but it's fantastic.
It's quick.
Yeah, who would think that you'd go and celebrate a new road, but it's excellent. It's way, way faster. So getting from Parramatta into the city is way less of a hassle. In time, we're going to see the flow-on effects for that. Is there a new metro rail line coming? That's on the horizon. I'd be paying attention to this because major changes like that influence people in the long term because it makes their life better. So have a look at that kind of stuff when you look at investments.
That's looking at like a bit of a outside the box picture. You're looking at the things that affect the change and affect people's lives.
That's right.
And that has a flow-on effect for the property.
Yes.
Whereas people are looking maybe too granular at the properties themselves.
Well, look, I can go granular there, but if you start with a big picture and you've got a fantastic market, there's less that can go wrong.
Okay.
If you've got the market right and you've got a terrible property, you could still do very well. But if you've got the wrong market and a fantastic property, then you're absolutely screwed. Yeah. So get the market right first. And then if you want to go granular, we can talk for another segment for an hour.
Of course. But I've known you for a long time there, Dom, and probably finish on this question. Sure. You picked Newcastle as a great area that's being gentrified now. What's the next hotspot, would you say, that's due for some growth?
Okay, so Newcastle was a fantastic market. It's done very, very well. It's at the moment it's come off a little bit like the rest of the Sydney market.
Of course.
It isn't Sydney, but it's sort of an extension of that.
Yep.
It's certainly prices has risen since I said so. a lot of my clients did make some money in that market.
Good.
So it was good, and so did I. But new markets to look at. Again, if we're just going to have a look at key investments in infrastructure, I'll give you one at
Please.
the moment because I can talk, as you can tell, until someone says stop. One market that I really, really like, and I think it's a pretty price sensitive market, meaning it's kind of, you can find some good deals for less than $1 million. Sydenham area, Marrickville, that area I feel like is already gentrifying. That is, higher incomes are moving into the area, and with that you're seeing a burgeoning retail environment, a lot more commercial. You're seeing more breweries, you're seeing a more flourishing arts and cultural precinct. But one reason why I really like it is because there's a new metro rail line that is going down that Bankstown line. Currently, to catch a train into the city, a train comes every 15 minutes. Soon, a train will be there, a light rail train or a metro rail line will be there one every 4 minutes. And also, the travel time into the city will be like 8 to 10 minutes as opposed to almost 20, 25.
Wow.
So you're halving your travel times and the frequency of the trains is increasing. So that's very like in Singapore, the MRT, or in London, you've got the tube, or New York, you've got the underground. That frequency and speed, I feel like it's going to contribute a lot to that area and will make it a desirable place to live for higher income producing people.
Yes.
And with that, it's going to attract a new crowd. It'll gentrify a lot faster. And I think you're going to see an increase in prices over the next 3 to 5 years. Next 5 years, certainly. Three years for the visionaries, but the laggards that want to see a completed area, when it completes in 2024, 2026 is the sort of the longer tail end. But that's a long way of saying Marrickville, Sydenham, inner western areas.
Very good. I really appreciate your insights on that there, Dom.
Of course.
In terms of the finance and what that affect, obviously we're coming out of the post-Royal Commission. Credit is easing, so the ability to get credit is easing. Rates are, as we said, are at an all-time low, but the banking paradigm has shifted. A lot of long-term bankers are leaving, which means that the service level propositions for our clients has fallen. So they need to get into a position that's better than that was. So that's why now more than ever, it's good to speak to a professional like a broker to get your finance sorted. And so in terms of legal professionals, there are many compelling benefits, not only for owner-occupied properties, first homes, but investments. They can borrow up to 90% and not pay lenders mortgage insurance, which when you want to structure your finance in the right way and, get those tax incentives, like, borrow 90% on investment property can be quite compelling.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I should have become a lawyer.
Shouldn't we all?
Yeah.
But then we spend like 3 hours going through the contract instead of just getting it signed. I always say that all the time. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed chatting to you, Dom. And I think our audience will enjoy your cogent insights as well, my friend.
Great. Look forward to being on here again.
Let's do it again soon.
Gotcha.
Thanks, everyone.